Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we are heading to the German track of the Nürburgring. This is the first time that the Nürburgring will be on the Grand Prix World Series as a replacement for Hockenheim, which has hosted the German round of the championship for the last 2 seasons. As always, we will start off with the League 2 race, and heading into today's race, Alex Palou still maintains his lead at the top of the driver standings, 83 points for the Spanish driver, ahead of Callum Ilott, who is on 64 points, one ahead of Tomoki Najiri, who picked up his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory last time out in Mugello. Kimi Antonelli holding on to 4th in the championship despite a poor run of form of late, ahead of Matt Campbell, who, if you were tuned in to the last round in Mugello, will know that he is no longer racing for the Ram team. Jack Doohan in the car now for the foreseeable future. Stoffel Vandoorne up to 6th in the Zach Speed on equal points with Matt Campbell, and also with Ryo Hirakawa, all of them on 38 points in 5th, 6th and 7th. Nick de Vries, Louis Foster and Luke Browning round out the top 10. Looking at the team standings, Ram has led the way since the very beginning of this season. 121 points for Ross McGregor's team, 4 ahead of Prima Racing, who picked up their first win last time out and are getting themselves well and truly into the thick of this championship fight. Carlin 3rd on 102, the top 3 the only team so far to make it into triple digits. Andretti 4th on 84 points ahead of Zach Speed, Scuderia Coloni, Dome, 40 Corsi, Dams and Surtees. That is your top 10 in League 2. While the bottom 3 positions currently filled by Rial, LaRousse and Tolman. All teams now picking up points this season after LaRousse scored with both Matteo Caroli and Abby Pulling last time out. In today's League 2 race, there are no driver changes to make a note of, so we're going to head straight down to the grid to see who's going to start at the front for today's Nürburgring Grand Prix. And it is a Carlin 1-2. Callum Ilott and Ryo Hirakawa lock out the front row for Perry Brown's team. Only 9,000ths of a second separating them though. It could be that close later on in the race. Nick Cassidy 3rd in the Dome ahead of Nick de Vries. Rotoma Miata makes sure that both Domes are in the top 5. Danny Junkendaya 6th in the Dams ahead of Tomoki Najiri. Alex Palou, Jake Dennis and Pato Ward. That is the top 10. Alex Palou, the championship leader, having a bit of a better qualifying session this time around. Louis Foster will start from 11th today ahead of Luke Browning. Kimi Antonelli 13th in the Scuderia Coloni ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne. Abby Pulling 15th in the LaRousse. That's one of LaRousse's best qualifying positions of the season so far. Max Gunther will enjoy his home race today in a Real and start from 16th ahead of Robin Freins, Jess Hawkins, Zach O'Sullivan and Sam Bird, putting both Reals into the top 20. And at the back, Dennis Hauger, Jack Doohan, Toby Sowry, Paul Aron, Sarah Moore and Matteo Caroli. All cars within a second of each other in qualifying. It was a close session. Hopefully it will be as close a race. Well, we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get straight to it and head down to trackside where our regular commentator Tom Cairns is ready and waiting to take you through all the action.
Here we are at the Nürburgring in Germany. Callum Ilott on pole ahead of his Carlin teammate Ryo Hirakawa. Can they get their season back on the right track with a strong result today? We wait for 5 red lights to come on and then disappear, and we are racing for the first time here in Germany. Lights are on. Lights are off. Callum Ilott away from the grid very, very well. Ryo Hirakawa not getting off to a good start. Unfortunately, he's been surrounded by the likes of Nick de Vries and potentially Rotoma Miata before they get to the Castrol S. And Callum Ilott streaks ahead of the pack. And it's the Andretti of Nick de Vries who's in 2nd place. Rotoma Miata's got in front of his compatriot Ryo Hirakawa into 3rd position. Behind Hirakawa is Nick Cassidy in the 2nd Dome, followed by the 2 Dams cars of Danny Junkendaya and Pato Ward. And it's the race winner from last time out, Tomoki Najiri in 8th place. Luke Browning and Alex Palou, the championship leader, languishing down in 10th. Coming towards the Dunlop curve, you can see Callum Ilott doing his best to remain ahead of the Andretti. We won't know for certain whether they'll be doing 1 stop or 2 stops until later on. But Ilott doing his best so far. The race winner of Hewitt Park, looking to make it his 3rd Grand Prix World Series win today. We're looking at Luke Browning, who's in 9th position behind the Prima of Tomoki Najiri as they go through the right-hander of the bit curve. We're going via the names of this particular layout as it was known back then, so some of the corner names may be different to what you might be seeing in today's world. But we are seeing the two damage cars swapping places. Pato Award getting through on Daniel Kandaya for 6th position into the Vidal chicane, which is currently known as the NGK chicane. You can just see the fast lap changing, but it is only one lap down, so that lap time will be coming down in due course. Pilot's lead so far is 9/10 of a second. The Nürburgring hosting a Grand Prix World Series race for the first time. In the last couple of seasons it's been Hockenheim. Decided to try somewhere different and go for Nürburgring this time around. Nürburgring venue for round 8 of 16. We'll be reaching the halfway point after this round. We've got the mid-season test to come shortly after both races are completed. And now we can see a move there from Ritomo Miata going for it on Nick de Vries for 2nd position, but de Vries holds him off for the time being. After the Nürburgring round, we go to Istanbul in Turkey, followed by Parnu in Estonia and Anderstorp in Sweden. And whilst we say that, we've got two Dome drivers moving up positions. And Miata's got in front of de Vries for 2nd place, and Kazi's got through on Ryu Hirakawa for 4th place. The Domes are coming into their zone now as the 2nd lap is out. Going back to what I was saying about the calendar, we've got Estonia and Sweden for rounds 10 and 11, which will be the last of the European races. And we've got Zhuhai in China, Ortopolis Japan, Sipu in South Korea, Sepang Malaysia, and it's Surfers Paradise in Australia for the 16th and final championship round. And we'll know by then he'll be going up to League One next season. 3 teams will be doing so. And the bottom 3 teams in League One will head down to League 2 for Season 5. We've also got the non-championship Macau Grand Prix, which will host its 2nd edition in the Grand Prix World Series. See Nick de Vries in 3rd place in the Andretti. Race winner at the opening round in Ricarapagua, Brazil. Now he's under attack from Nick Cassidy going into the chicane here. The final chicane before the lap. And Nick Cassidy is through into 3rd place ahead of Nick de Vries. So it's Dome 2 and 3. Now is anyone going to try and make a move into the Castrol S? I don't think anyone is doing so as far as we know. No retirement so far after 3 laps. There is Ilott. There is Miata. Cassidy will be chasing those two in a moment. And Daniel Kandaya has dropped back to 9th position behind Najiri and Browning. It's difficult to say whether he's on a one-stopper, which is possible. There we are, riding on board with Ritomo Miata in 2nd place. Dome really need a strong result today. They cannot continue the reliability problems that have been hindering them so far this season. And we see Nick de Vries getting back through on Nick Cassidy into the Vidal chicane, and he is through into 3rd place ahead of the man from New Zealand. Callum Ilott with a new fast lap of the race so far, 1 minute 27.1. And further back we're looking at Kimi Antonelli, who's stuck behind the Zach Speed. What looks like Robin Frines. Behind Anthony is Jess Hawkins and Abby Pullin. They've qualified well again. Zylot over 3 seconds clear over Miata. De Vries is beginning to pull away from Hirakawa, who's got by Nick Cassidy as well. Zylot doing everything he needs to do so far. We'll find out soon enough what strategy he'll be doing. We just saw an overtake there from... Who was that just made an overtake? That was one of the Reals making a move. That was Max Gunter on the inside of Topher van Dorn into the RTL curve. And he is through into 13th place. And Antonelli's got through on Freins for 15th. A lot of overtaking we are seeing so far around this Nürburgring circuit. And Louis Foster goes for it on Jake Dennis into the Vidal chicane. And that's 11th position going in the way of the man who's been in brilliant form since he was drafted in by the Prima team boss Alex Johnston. Will Power was in that seat earlier in the season, but his poor run of form had cost him his drive. We won't know whether he'll see Will Power back in the car in the near future, but he will be involved in the mid-season test. So there's that to look forward to once this round is done. Zach O'Sullivan in the 40, in 19th position behind Abby Pullin in the LaRousse. Sarah Moore is in 20th position. It's Sam Bird, Jack Doohan, Paul Aron, Matteo Caroli, Dennis Hauger, and Toby Sowry, who is back after a one-race ban for taking out Matteo Caroli at Dijon Burgoyne a couple of rounds ago. There's a move there from Young on Browning to go back into 8th place. And Ilott continuing to set a new fastest lap. Limit 27.0. Fine job so far. We see Miata running wider almost there. And we see Louis Foster battling out again with Jake Dennis for 11th place. And looks like O'Ward has got through on Nick Cassidy for position. And Alex Playo has got through on Luke Browning. Solid start to the race for the drivers. No incidents, no one taking out anyone, which is what we saw in Mugello. Despite the event being a car breaker, no one got penalties or race bans or disqualifications for colliding with any of the other drivers. There's Foster in P11 behind Luke Browning. How long before he decides to go for it? Louis Foster on his compatriot. He's going for it now into the chicane, and he's through on Browning. And Ilott with another new fastest lap. He's currently got hold of the fastest lap anyway as Ilott. Looks like he could well be the one coming away with that, but he'll want to be getting more than just the fastest at that point. Here is Ritomo Miata running in 2nd place as we see Louis Foster, who's pulling away from Browning, who's holding up a long queue of cars. Jake Dennis is in there, Max Gunter, Stoffel van Dorn, Robin Freins. They'll be eager to get by sooner rather than later. Ritomo Miata in 2nd place on lap 8. Just under 4 seconds behind the Brit. And there's Jake Dennis on the inside of Luke Browning. And he is through into 11th place. And I don't think it'll be too long before Max Gunter follows suit. Nick Brennan on the inside of Louis Foster. Not Louis Foster, sorry. It was Jake Dennis who's got back through. We're not expecting pit stops to happen until around about lap 15, I would say. So we've still got a bit to go. The gaps will continue to increase. Sarah Moore's got through on Kimi Antonelli for position. Miata heading through the bit curve. Staying in touch with Callum Ilott for position. We see Ryo Hirakawa in third place. Determined to stay in the title battle. As it stands, Alex Palou, who's in the lead with 83 points coming into this round. Collects a couple of points. If Callum Ilott was to win, he would in fact lead the Drivers' Championship. Tommy Kanjiri, who's running in P7, will remain in third. And so it doesn't look like he's going to be scoring. You see Miata locking up into the Dunlop curve. He was able to get away with that. So far so good for Carlin with first and third. There is Ilott, determined to remain in the lead by the time this race is over. Don't know for certain how much time you need for a pit stop round this track. Thought it'd be too long. We'll see Miata in second place. Just saw a move from Louis Foster on Alex Palou for 9th position. Up the inside goes Foster, and that's him through ahead of the Ram. Ram have been off the pace again in this round. But they're very much in a fight in the team's championship with likes of Kramer and Carlin, Andretti possibly. And if don't get their act together with the reliability, they could be in the fray once more. You can see Van Don on the inside of Browning for 12th place and not able to pull off a move there. And now Van Don's got his teammate Robin Fines for company. Up the hill, Hirakawa it goes. Positions were to remain as they are, the League 2 Teams Championship as it is, Carlin will be leapfrogging Prima and Ram into the lead. Prima will be second and Ram will be third. You see a move there, that's one of the dams going through. I think that was O'Ward on DeFreeze for 4th place. Jess Hawkins through on Max Gunter for 15th. Positions changing left, right and centre here, all the way down the field. So far, so good for Carlin. This Despite Hirakawa's poor start, he's managed to come back through the field and up to 3rd place. Further back we are seeing Max Gunther, who's lost pace from what he had earlier on, and is about to be overtaken here by Sarah Moore. So both Surtees cars getting through on the Rio. And a problem for Ritomo Miyata and for Dome. It's as they feared. The Japanese retires from the lead to Nürburgring Grand Prix. And the problems seem no sign of stopping at the moment. Another retirement for Ritomo Miyata. That's his 4th in a row. And into 2nd place goes Ryo Hirakawa. It's now a Carlin 1-2. Now is Jack Doohan through on Sacco Sullivan for 22nd position. Here is Ryo Hirakawa in 2nd place for a brief moment. We go back to Max Gunther, who lost the position to Sarah Moore on the last lap. Now we're right on board with Ryo Hirakawa, nearly 9 seconds off the lead. What will Callum Ilott be thinking at this moment in time? Here he is. He's coming through the last corner now. And we see DeFries making a move on Nick Cassidy for 4th place, and he's through. Dome's race isn't getting any better at the present moment. Here is Hirakawa in P2. DeFries and Cassidy further back. And Robin Friends still tossing it out with Luke Brown in. James Hawkins isn't too far behind. And we look at Pato Ward in 3rd place. Podium finisher at Mercury Park. He's had an 8th at Dijon Burgoyne and a 5th. The last race in Mugello. Here's Ryo Hirakawa. Absolutely going for it. Nigiri in 5th place now, through on Nick Cassidy. It's been a splendid race so far. Nigiri, hot on the back of his maiden win in Mugello a couple of weeks back. And it looks like Nigiri is tossing it out with Daniel Kandaya for position. Unless it was Nick Cassidy getting back through on Nigiri. It was Cassidy getting back through on Nigiri for 5th place. How long before Ilott chooses to come in? With him going at the pace he's doing, surely it's not too long before he decides to dart in. Ilott continuing to lead, and it's Ryo Hirakawa in 2nd place. Pato Ward 3rd, and it's Nick DeFries, Nick Cassidy, Tommy Kanejiri, Daniel Kandaya, Louis Foster, Alex Palou, and Jake Dennis. And there's Foster going through on Yunkendaya for P7. Next driver ahead of him is his teammate Tom Cairns. The Premiers are coming alive now. And there is Sunbird through on Abby Pullin for 18th position. And Jack Doohan is dropping down the order. And it looks like he's out of the race, is Doohan, and he is. And there he is, pulling off the circuit. He had some form of mechanical issue. There's 2 races in the Grand Prix World Series and 2 non-finishes for the young Australian. There's a gearbox issue that's put him out. That's 1 ramp left in the race then. Alex Palou running inside the points in 9th. And Kimi Antonelli going through on Max Gunter for 16th. Ryo Hirakawa in 2nd position, 9 seconds behind his teammate Callum Ilott. Ilott still continuing to pull away at the end of lap 16. It's Hirakawa, O'Ward, De Vries, Casti, Njiri, Foster, Yunkendaya, Palou and Dennis. There is the League 1 race to come up, coming up later on after the League 2 race is done. There's the LaRousse going through on the Tolman. That will be Matteo Caroli on Paul Aron. Ilott continuing on. Ryo Hirakawa gradually falling back, but he's well clear of Pato Ward. You can see really fending off Aron. Ilott is coming through. This is starting another lap, or has he gone into the pits? It's continuing on. They will eventually pit, so that you know, in case you are new to this championship. Yunkendaya through on Foster for 7th place. And Foster has decided to come in for a pit stop. And we're on board with Toby Surrey, who is attacking Paul Aron for position. There we can see Ilott in the lead. Foster will rejoin in track position. He's at the back of the field. He'll easily make up all the time before he gets to the rear of the pack. Ilott still going on. Here is Hirakawa. Came close to victory, Magello, before a loose wheel had put him into the barrier and out of the race. Colin have been so much better this campaign compared to last. And Max Gunter through on, I think that was one of the Colonis he's just got through there. And we've got a pit stop going on at Dams because Pato Ward has come in. He was running in 3rd place before he entered the pits. Sarah Moore on her way in as well. Nick De Freeze in third position ahead of Cassidy. And Callum Ilott in the lead at the moment. Hirakawa trying to keep up. But Ilott is in from the lead at the end of lap 19. And he'll be doing the two-stop. 5 laps of fuel left on his gauge there. So he could have carried on if he wanted to bridge out the gap over the rest of the field. But there's his teammate Ryo Hirakawa, who goes into the lead. Where will Ilott filter back out? There's Petro War through under the Roos. Not wasting any time there. And Ilott, for your information, is rejoining 8th place behind Jake Dennis. And on the fresh tyres, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he got through on him rather quickly. Matteo Caroli has come into the pits. We're watching Nick Cassidy, who's in 3rd place now on track. There's a couple of seconds off Jake Dennis. It won't be too long before he gets by him. Hirakawa, 9.5 seconds clear of Nick de Vries. Jonathan, who's going to be pitting in this lap? Now we see Toby Sowry going through on the Tolman of Paul Aron for 18th position. Go back to Hirakawa. Here is Foster. Going through on Dennis Hauger, 4th position. De Vries in 2nd place. Hasn't been on the podium since he had won in Brazil. One driver who's going for 4 podiums in a row today is Callum Ilott. If he was to do so, he'll become the 5th driver to achieve that. The other drivers being Scott Dixon, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Felix da Costa and Marcus Ericsson. The ball with Nick Cassidy. Just the 2 retirements so far in this race. Ritoyo Miata retiring from 2nd position with Mechanical Gremlins. Likewise for Jack Doohan towards the back. Gearbox trouble had put him out. Here's Foster going through on the Tolman of Paul Aron at the Castrol S. There's a nice overtake there from the Brit. Now looking at Nick de Vries again. And say those who haven't stopped already yet are inclined to be doing the 1 stop. So Ilott is potentially going to have to do a lot of overtaking on this track if he's to have any chance of winning this race. And here he goes, look, through on Jake Dennis into the last chicane of the circuit. And he goes through into P7. De Freeze still in second place as we watch Abby Pullin making a move on Sam Bird for position. That's 15th place going in the way of the LaRousse driver. And Bird under attack now from Pato Ward. He's not able to get through that time around. They are battling for position, so the Real is not obliged to move out of the way. DeFries in second and Cassidy in third. At 23. Ryo Hirakawa continuing on his way. Ilott will be closing in on Polo. I don't think he's narrowing down the gap as quickly as I thought it would be, Callum Ilott, given he's on the fresher tyres. And race leader Ryo Hirakawa has come in, and I think this will be for his only stop of the race. DeFries goes into the lead in the Andretti. What is he aiming to do? As we see Jess Hawkins, who hasn't stopped in this race yet, nearly running into Ryo Hirakawa, who's just come out of the pits. Watch Paul Laron, who's ahead of his teammate Dennis Hauger. Behind Hauger are Sacco Sullivan, Sarah Moore and Matteo Caroli. Approaching half race distance at the Nürburgring. Cassidy's still going on. There's just Hawkins through on Ryo Hirakawa, who's not got his tyres up to temperature yet. Jake Dennis is in the pits now in the Andretti. Stoffel Fundorn also coming in. And Callum Ilott's got through on Alex Palou, so that you know. Into 5th place on track. And we see Antonelli go for a spin on the grass and through the gravel there. He's had a really poor run of form at the moment, has the young Italian. And yeah, he's bounced heavily through the gravel track. Very lucky he didn't break his front wing. Whilst he's at it. You can see him falling down the pack now is Antonelli. There he is, getting the car back round. He's in 23rd place now. Another race to forget for Coloni. Fines going through on Jess Hawkins for 9th. And Callum Ilott has posted another new fast sub of the race. He's into the 126s now. Daniel Condeo is the next driver, which he'll need to get through. Skunter comes in for Rio for his only stop. There we see Ilott going through on Yonkandea at Dunlop. And the Brit is through into 4th place ahead of the Dams. It's uncertain when Callum Ilott is going to be pitting in again, rather than if. Nick DeFries in the lead. Nick Cassidy second, and it's Tom Cairns, Callum Ilott. He's doing his best so far. Hirakawa has got into 8th position. And there is Pat Award going through on Abby Pullen for 11th. Both having fine races so far. And Tom Cairns under attack from Ilott as DeFries, Cassidy and Yukandeo come in. So Ilott is going to take over the race lead here from Tom Cairns. And that move was coming all along. Luke Browning goes up to 3rd. He's still yet to pit. And through all the stops, Pato Ward has got himself up to a net 3rd place. And there's Louis Foster, who's in 10th behind Sam Bird on circuit, but he's through on Danny Yunkandea and Alex Palou. Nick Cassidy is falling behind Sam Bird. Anthony comes in for his only stop of the race. There's no way that Colonia, I think, are going to be coming away with anything today. What a race so far for Carlin. Dennis through on Hauger for 14th. And Nijiri is in from 2nd place. What does Luke Browning decide to do? He's in as well. Hirakawa goes up to 2nd place then. And it's O'Ward, DeFries. Will Abby Pullen decide to come in? I think she is in now, yeah. So it's Ilott, Hirakawa, O'Ward, DeFries, Cassidy. Nijiri's just come out of the pits ahead of Foster, or so he thought, because Foster's ahead of him now in 6th position. Yukandea is 8th, Palou is 9th, and Dennis 10th. Just 2 drivers out of the race so far, Jack Doohan and Ritomo Miyata. As it stands, Callum Ilott will be moving into the lead of the Drivers' Championship in League 2. And we just saw Robin Friends getting through on Abby Pullen for position. Ilott's lead over Hirakawa is 15 seconds. He's not got any back markers to worry about at the moment anyway, has Ilott, so he can just get the hammer down and go for it. O'Ward in P3. Going for his 2nd podium finish of the season. We've got Nick DeFries and Nick Cassidy behind, who've just pitted. There's Ilott. Race winner at Mercury Park for Carlin, and race winner for LaRousse at Taupo in Season 2. After a really disappointing season in Season 3 with the LaRousse team. Harry Brown, manager of Carlin, deciding to give him a chance to revitalise his career in the Grand Prix Series. And what a job he has done so far. Puts award in P3 for Dams. Behind Award is DeFries. Got Najiri in P7. Two Primers in 6th and 7th. And Lou Brennan's got through on Topher Van Dorn for 12th. Behind Van Dorn is Jess Hawkins in the Surtees, and then Max Gunter in the Real. Nürburgring, the former host of the Eiffel Grand Prix, the German Grand Prix, the Luxembourg Grand Prix and the European Grand Prix. It has hosted some classic races over the years. Johnny Herbert's victory for Stewart in 1999. We saw many different race leaders pull out. There was that wet dry thriller in 2007 where Marcus Fincock in the Spiker of all cars to lead for a good few laps, and then there was the duel for the lead between Alonso and Massa in the closing stages before Alonso went on to win that day. It's unlikely that Formula 1 will be returning to the Nürburgring anytime soon. Perhaps some major investment is what's needed. Here's Hirakawa second, who's 16 seconds off the lead of Callum Ilott. He's not bridging out enough of a gap on Hirakawa, so he's going to have to catch him in the closing stages if he's to come away with a victory today. Starting on pole, led most of it. He's got the fastest lap point. Doing all the right things. Going through the right-hander of the bit curve. Hirakawa. Here's Hirakawa. Through the chicane. We see Caroli in the LaRue slowing down, and he's going to be the third driver to retire from this Lead 2 Nürburgring Grand Prix. There he is off the circuit after a brilliant performance at Mugello a couple of weeks ago. It's back to basics here at Nürburgring. His teammate Abby Pullen is still going, but she's outside the top 15. Now we look at Hirakawa. Ward is nearly 9 seconds off him. We expect Ilott to pit in again before this race is over. He came in on lap 19. Foster trying to build the gap. I don't know what his fuel gauge is saying. It'd be great if we could have a look at that, but we'll wait and see. We've seen Nigiri going through on Foster for 6th position. The two Primoz swapping places. And hats off to Sarah Moore for a brilliant performance in the Surtees in 11th. Over 3 seconds clear of Luke Browning. And there we see Junkendale going through on Louis Foster for 7th. That's another position lost for Foster. Hirakawa approaching 2/3 race distance here. Back to race leader Callum Ilott, who on the brink of his 3rd Grand Prix World Series win, his 2nd of the season. It'll be Carlin's first 1-2, should Hirakawa remain where he is. And Hirakawa will go to 4th place in the Drivers' Championship. As it stands, so there is Alex Palou going through on Foster. It's been a terrible lap for Louis Foster, it has to be said. And now he's going to be under threat from Jake Dennis. Now I want to go back to the battle between Foster and Dennis. Here it is. And Dennis is going through on Foster, almost. He's bound to overtake Foster at some point anyway. Will he go for it into turn 2? Here he goes. And he is through, is Jake Dennis on Louis Foster. So Foster down to the last points paying position in 10th. I don't think it'll be too long before Sarah Moore closes in on him. And Ilott's in from the lead at the end of lap 35. Hirakawa will go back into the lead. He's not expected to stop again. And it looks like Pato Ward is also heading in. At least that's one less car for Ilott to pass on circuit. So Callum Ilott will rejoin behind Nick de Vries, I think. Or just in front of him, actually. He's just got in front of him. So the time of the pit stop was rather perfect of Ilott. He's ahead of Nick de Vries in 2nd place. And we've got other drivers pitting in. We've got Sarah Moore in. We've got Louis Foster in. And we've got O'Ward has just come back out behind Jess Hawkins in 12th. There's your race leader, Ryo Hirakawa, 13 seconds clear of Ilott. So Ilott really needs to take a second out of Hirakawa's lead if he is going to win today's race. Hirakawa is not expected to stop again. We'll see how much time is taken out of Hirakawa. We'll compare the sector alone. Although he's under attack from Nick de Vries. He's going to go through here. And de Vries has got through on Ilott into 2nd place. That's not good for Callum Ilott. That's not what he needs at this stage of the race. He cannot be battling with any of the other drivers. He needs to pull clear of de Vries and Cassidy. And you can see the dome behind the Carlin. The left and right handers prior to the Dunlop hairpin. There we see Young Adair locking up a little bit. That's at turn 3. He's ahead of Alex Palou. Continuing on, and still attacking Nick DeFries. Is he into the slipstream to get back through here? He is. On the inside goes Callum Ilott on Nick DeFries, and he's through to second place, and now he can set his sights on Ryo Hirakawa for the race win now. He's got 13 laps to catch up to him. And he's got 14 seconds to make up. There is your race leader, Ryo Hirakawa. Yet to win in the Grand Prix World Series. He's finished third in his first couple of outings in Hikawa Pagua and Buenos Aires. He's only finished once in the last 5 though, which was a 6th place finish at Montjuic Park. Ilott's only taken a couple of tenths out of Hirakawa's lead in Sector 1. And we've got a battle for the final podium position here because Cassidy and DeFries are going into combat. Ilott's going through Sector 2 now. He's taken another couple of tenths. We're looking at Cassidy on the inside of DeFries into 3rd position. A great move there from the down. Exactly what they needed. That's Cassidy trying to bring home some joy for the down team, who have had a very, very difficult time of it. Struggling to get to the end of races. There's Sarah Moore through on the 40 of Sacco Sullivan for 20th place. Just seen someone getting through on one of the Tolmans. Oh, we just see Toby Surrey running into the Tolman there, holding him up. And it's Paul Aron that's hit trouble there. And it's for the 2nd race running. He's hit trouble in the closing stages of the race. He's got back to the pits. He'll fall down to last position. Gap between Hirakawa and Ilott is 13.4 seconds in Sector 1. I think Ilott took only something like 7 tenths out of the margin on the last lap. He's taken 4 tenths out of Hirakawa in Sector 2 alone. The race for the win is on. But Callum Ilott's got to take over a second out of Hirakawa's margin every lap. The gap is 12.7. And Hirakawa is coming up behind Paul Aron, who's just come out of the pits ahead of him. Gap is coming down, just 3 tenths in the first sector that Ilott was able to take out on Hirakawa there. 11 laps remaining here at the Nürburgring. Now he was able to take 4 tenths out of Hirakawa in sector 2 alone on the last lap. What can he do here? There's a lot of corners in Sector 2, it has to be said. And the gap has come down by another 4 tenths. Ilott absolutely flying. But I still don't think he's taking enough out of Hirakawa's lead. And he's only taken something like 3/10. So I think he only took 1 second out of Hirakawa on that last lap. There's Sarah Moore through on Toby Sowry for position. And she's through into 18th behind Louis Foster. Sarah Moore came close to beating the points earlier. Now it's Jess Hawkins who's only 1 second behind Stoffel van Dorn and a championship point. There's Sacco Sullivan's got Dennis Hauger behind him. It's been a low-key race again for Sacco Sullivan and for 40, but they've got Luke Browning inside the top 10. At Nick Cassidy in third place, trying to pull away from Nick De Vries. He's under attack from Tom McKinney Jr. now. It's De Vries and the jury is through on the Andretti. The race winner of Mugello is through into 4th position. The gap between Hirakawa and Aylot at the end of lap 41 is 10.8 seconds with 9 laps left. O'Ward through on Hawkins for P11. The two-slot strategy proving not to be the right way forward for these drivers here today so far. Dennis Hauger going through on Sacco Sullivan for 20th position. Aylot, it's got the gap down to 10.4 in sector 1. He's still not doing enough. Unless Hirakawa hits trouble now, I doubt that Aylot's going to take victory. But the good news is that we'll get another different race winner for this season. And Aylot was able to take half a second out of Hirakawa in sector 2. What about sector 3? Well, Aylot set a new fast lap of the race, a 1:26.8. 9.6 seconds is the margin. It's great, but it's still not enough for Callum Aylot. Okay, we're going through sector 1. Remember, it's 9.6 over the line. The gap is now 9.2, 4/10. Aylot was able to take out of Hirakawa in sector 1 alone. We're watching Sarah Moore go through the last corner. It's been a respectable race from Sarah Moore. Trying to make the 2-stop work, but not quite so for today. But she'll have more chances at it. Istanbul should be an interesting one for the drivers. The gap between Hirakawa and Aylot was 9.2 in sector 1, now 8.6. So over half a second Aylot was able to take out of Hirakawa in sector 2. O'Ward going through on Van Dorn for 10th place in the dams. And Aylot has posted another new fast lap of the race at 1:26.8. The gap down to 8.4 seconds. Took another couple of tenths out on that last sector. Closest battle we've got on circuit as we speak is between Nigeri and De Vries. And Aylot's got the gap down to 8 seconds. 4/10 he took out in sector 1. And Hirakawa is on the brink of his first win in the Grand Prix Series in his 8th outing. Cassidy, who has finished on the podium before at Buenos Aires. And Eilot's got the gap down to 7.7. I think he only took 0.3 out of Hirakawa in sector 2. We'll see what he's done over the line. It's only a couple more tenths. So that's a total of 9 tenths he took out of Hirakawa on the last lap. 6 laps to go. The gap is 7.5 seconds. We're right on board with Ryo Hirakawa. The gap has come down by another 3 tenths. Now watching Hauger and O'Sullivan fight for 20th position. And O'Sullivan is through on the Tolman. What will Eilot do here? Gap is 7.2 in sector 1. Hirakawa's gone through sector 2 now. How far is Eilot behind his Japanese teammate? 6.7. That's 4 to 5 tenths he took out of the margin on that last sector there. Hirakawa over the line as we see Sarah Moore lock up at Dunlop. Able to stay on the circuit. She's running in 18th position and catching Louis Foster. I want to look at the gap between Hirakawa and Eilot. 6.5 at the end of the last lap. So we saw, watch Robin Fines go through the last chicane of the lap. Gap is 6.3. Eilot was only able to take a couple of tenths out of Hirakawa in that last sector. I think it's as good as done as far as Hirakawa's win is concerned, but there's still time for things to change. Eilot will want to try and get that down to less than 6 seconds by the end of sector 2. Hirakawa goes through there. What is Eilot doing here? He's got it down to 5.8. As we see Dennis and Pelot tussle over P7. As it stands, Alex Pelot will stay in the lead in the Drivers' Championship. And Pelot has come to a slowdown because he's just let Jake Dennis through there. And I think Pelot's going to be in the pits at the end of the lap. Yeah, he's got a loose wheel, has Pelot, and that throws away a points finish for Ram. Huge shame there for Ross McGregor. That allows O'Ward and Van Dorn through into the points. But it's been another race to forget for Ram and for championship leader Alex Pelot. Might try and go for a fastest lap with a handful of laps left. So he's outside the top 15 now, is Pelot. Back to the leaders. The gap is 5.4 in sector 1. What's the gap now in sector 2? It's 5 seconds. Just 3 laps to go now for Ryo Hirakawa. The gap between him and Eilot is 4.8. One stop proving to be the best strategy today. Those are on the 2 have liked to have suffered. Although Eilot is still on course to get a second place finish. O'Ward only managed in 9th, what could have been a podium for him. Gandaya looking to to open his points account for the season with a 6th place finish and 8 championship points. You can see Hirakawa in the background on that camera angle. 4.6 seconds was the margin in sector 1. It's now, what is it in sector 2? It's 4.1. Nearly half a second that time around. With 2 laps to go, what will the margin be in sector 3? I can tell you, it is now still 4.1. Islet was only able to take about 8 hundredths out of Hirakawa in that last sector. Is the battle for the win still on? Or has Hirakawa got this one sewn up? Now Islet will be there to round off a 1-2 finish for the team. And Toby Sowry in the Coloni is pulling out with only a few laps left. And that sums up Lewis Bassendale's day and season so far. And Sowry retires again. It's not been a happy return for him. And Alex Palou was able to get the fastest lap and take it away from Callum Ilott. 3.8 seconds the margin between Hirakawa and Ilott in sector 1. The gap is now 3.6 by the looks of it. But we're going on to the final lap of the race now. Ryo Hirakawa is 4.5 kilometres away from sealing a brilliant victory for himself after all the troubles he has had in previous rounds. Callum Ilott won't be too disappointed with second as we watch Palou go through on Sarah Moore for position into 17th. He's not going to be finishing in the top 10 is Palou, but he's got the point for the fastest lap as it stands. Nick Cassidy on course for his 2nd podium of the season, but at least Dome will come away with a good haul of points to keep their slim hopes of promotion alive. But here is Ryo Hirakawa. A difficult beginning to the race, but he came back through the field, outdo Ilott on the strategy side of things. It's his 8th Grand Prix World Series outing, and it's going to be his first win of the campaign and give him a chance in the championship. Ryo Hirakawa's got one more corner to go, and he'll see the checker flag in sight and the Carlin team out on the pit wall. Ryo Hirakawa wins the Lead 2 Nürburgring Grand Prix. Callum Ilott brings the 2nd Carlin home in P2 to round off the team's first ever 1-2 in the Grand Prix World Series. Nick Cassidy with a podium finish for Dome, but we've got retirement on the last lap for Dennis Hauger in the Tolman. He wasn't going to be scoring points anyway. But it's not a good sight for Michael Gillespie, the team manager of the squad. Nick Cassidy brings home a much-needed podium for Dome in 3rd place, ahead of Tomek Inajiri. Nick de Vries is 5th. Danny Unkadea picks up his first points of the season in 6th. Jake Dennis in P7, followed by Luke Brown in some good points there actually for 40. Patrick Ward 9th, he'll be disappointed with that, couldn't quite make the strategy work. Stoff Van Dorn bags a championship point for sack speed, just ahead of Jess Hawkins, who misses out. Max Gunter will be next, followed by Robin Frines, Lurie Foster in a disappointing 14th position. And we've got Abby Pullin for LaRose in 15th, Palou 16th for Ram after coming into the pits. And then it's Sam Bird, Sarah Moore, Zach O'Sullivan in 19th position. I'm just racing for the rest to go over the line. Kimi Antonelli and Paul Aron are the last of those to take the checker flag. But it's victory for Ryo Hirakawa in the Carlin at the Nürburgring. What a day it is for the team and for team manager Perry Brown. Callum Ilott second, ahead of Nick Cassidy. Then it's Tom Cairns, the Mugello race winner, in fourth place. Nick de Vries fifth. Danny Oncadeo bringing home his first points of the season in sixth for Dams. And it's Jake Dennis in seventh, followed by Luke Browning, Pastor Ward ninth, and Stoffel van Don rounding out the top 10. Jess Hawkins was 11th, followed by Max Gunter. Robin Fryns in 13th position, ahead of Louis Foster and Abby Pullin. Alex Blow pitted towards the end and dropped down to 16th, ahead of Sam Bird. Sarah Moore was 18th, followed by Sacco Sullivan and Kimi Antonelli, who had another day to forget in the Coloni in 20th. Paul Aron was the last to take the checker flag in 21st place. Dennis Hauger pulled out on the last lap. Toby Surrey retired a few laps before the end, but was still classified. Matteo Caroli, Jack Doohan and Ritomo Miata were the drivers to not be classified as finishers. That completes a joint record for the most number of finishes in a Grand Prix World Series race. Callum Ilott took the point for pole position, and Alex Blow got the point for fastest lap. With the championship as it is, Rio Hirakawa's victory moves him up to what I believe now is fourth place in the drivers' standings, behind his compatriot Tommy Kinijiri in third. Callum Ilott's second place and his pole position sees him close down the gap to Alex Blow to just 1 point now, thanks to Blow getting that fastest lap. It's game on in the championship, and it most certainly is so in the team's championship, because to my maths, Carlin have leapfrogged both Prima and Ram into the lead of the team's championship. More on that to come with Topher Smith, and we'll be back for the League One race very, very, very shortly.
They went first and second in qualifying, and they are now first and second in the race, but in the opposite order. Rio Hirakawa uses a one-stop strategy to beat Callum Ilott to victory today and becomes yet another different race winner this season. The streak seems to be continuing of different race winners this season. Could we see more of the same in League One later? But for now, let's have a look down the championship standings after that race. Alex Palou still holding on to the lead in the championship, but now only by 1 point. His strong start to the season has now been nullified as the others have caught up, and Palou now hanging on to that lead by a thread. Callum Ilott 1 point behind after his second place today. Tommy Kinijiri third on 75 ahead of Rio Hirakawa, who is up to fourth in the standings after his victory today. Nick de Vries fifth in the Andretti ahead of Kimi Antonelli and Scuderia Coloni, both on 45 points each. And then Stoffel van Dorn, Matt Campbell, Nick Cassidy and Jake Dennis round out the top 10. And in the team standings, Carlin's 1-2 today has put them straight to the top of the standings. 146 points for Perry Brown's team. Prima on 128 ahead of Ram, who have dropped from first to third. They're on 122 now. Andretti break the triple-digit mark on 100 points ahead of Zach Speed on 66. Dome also on 66 ahead of Scuderia Coloni, 40 Corsi, Dams and Surtees rounding out the top 10. Rial, LaRousse and Tolman not scoring any points today, and they remain 11th, 12th and 13th. Well, with League 2 done and dusted, it's now time to focus our attention onto League 1, and let's remind ourselves of the championship standings heading into today. Sebastian Buemi in the Prost leads the way on 73 points, 13 ahead of Earl Bamber in the Leighton House. Joseph Newgarden puts both Leighton Houses into the top 3 on 58 points, 1 point ahead of Felix Rosenquist in the Arrows on 57. Scott Dixon, our two-time reigning champion in Minardi, 46 points for him as it stands, 2 ahead of Mahavira Kunnathan in the BAR. Scott McLaughlin is on 42, while Raffaele Marcello, Jean-Eric Verne and Oliver Behrman round out the top 10. As far as the teams are concerned, Leighton House is ahead of Prost by 9 points, 118 for Chris Caveney's team, while Tom Cairns' team is on 109. Arrows is third on 85 ahead of BAR and Simtek, who are joint on 70 points each. Minardi and HRT are on 52 each, 2 ahead of Force India on 50. Fomitel 27 and Manor rounds out the top 10 on 26. While in the relegation zone, Onyx, Pacific and Mastercard Lola, but that could all still change in the second half of the season. A couple of driver changes to make note of before we get the League One race underway. The first of which comes out of the Mastercard Lola team, and Marcus Johansson has made the decision to put Daniel Kvyat back into the car in place of Mick Schumacher. Schumacher not enjoying any amount of fine form recently. So Marcus Johansson has made that decision to put Kvyat back in the car to try and get some more points for the team and lift himself out of the relegation zone. While at the Minardi team, yet another driver change in the number 2, as it is an Italian for an Italian. Antonio Giovinazzi, a Le Mans winner for Ferrari, now steps in for his return to the Grand Prix World Series. Having completed a few outings for BAR last season, he takes the place of Gabriele Mini, and team manager Giacomo Pagliaro will be hoping that he can get some points on the board with Antonio Giovinazzi. With the driver changes wrapped up, let's take a look at the grid, and it is another pole position this season for Earl Bamber in the Leighton House. But in second place is the returning Antonio Giovinazzi. A brilliant performance in qualifying for him puts him second on his return, less than half a tenth behind Bamber's time, while Nicholas Latifi also went close to pole position in the BAR, but had to settle for third. Felix Rosenqvist fourth in the Arrows, ahead of Joseph Newgarden. Scott Dixon, the second Minardi on the grid, will be sixth, ahead of Scott McLaughlin. Kevin Estra with another brilliant performance in the Onyx. Antonio Felix da Costa and Raffaele Marcello share row 5, the Force India teammates, both inside the top 10. Jean-Eric Verne will be 11th in the Prost, ahead of Roman Grosjean in the Mastercard Lola. Kamui Kobayashi will go from 13th, ahead of Sebastian Buemi, our championship leader, half a second off the pace in qualifying. Mahavir Raghunathan 15th in the BAR, ahead of Marcus Ericsson, Shane van Gisbergen, Oliver Rowland, Pietro Fittipaldi and Alexander Sims. That is your top 20 for today's race. And at the back of the grid, Brendan Hartley, Oliver Behrman, Felipe Nasr, Daniel Kvyat, Mitch Evans and Jules Gounon, all 26 cars within a second of the pole time. So this should be another close race today, and we can't wait to get this one started. So let's get straight to it and hand you back over to Tom Cairns, ready and waiting in the commentary box.
Earl Bamber looking to continue his form from Mugello from pole position, ahead of the new Minardi arrival, Antonio Giovinazzi alongside, and it's Nicholas Latifi and Felix Rosenqvist on the second row. The 5 lights are coming on now, and when they go out, we'll be racing for one last time here today at the Nürburgring. Lights are on, lights are off, and we are racing here in Germany. Antonio Giovinazzi gets off to a brilliant start alongside Earl Bamber, and he's got the inside line into the Castrol S, the first turn of the racetrack. It looks like Pietro Fittipaldi has hit trouble in the Pacific already. We'll look to see what happened involving him. He was at the back of the field anyway, was the Brazilian. And who did he come together with there? I think he got a hit from one of the Fonmetals that put him into the wall. We're right on board with Felipe Nasr. Oh yeah, it was Felipe Nasr. He ran into the Pacific, and that looked avoidable from that angle. And I'll have to say that I think Felipe Nasr is going to have the book thrown at him. And it's race over, I'm afraid, for Pietro Fittipaldi yet again. And you'll have to hope that his teammate Brendan Hartley can salvage something from the race. It's a shame we came to that and not what is going on at the head of the pack. There is Danny Kvyat in the Mastercard Lola in place of Mick Schumacher. And the stewards perceive as though Felipe Nasr caused a collision. And so he is disqualified from the race and given a one-race ban for the next round in Istanbul Park. The team's reserve driver is the League 2 runner-up of last season, Pascal Wehrlein, who is expected to fill in for him. And Earl Bamber has somehow retained the lead ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi, and it's Scott Dixon who's up to third place in the second Minardi. Dixon started 6th on the grid, but now he's under attack from Nicholas Latifi in the BAR. Latifi through on the inside, and he is through without a shadow of a doubt. Dixon trying to stay on the circuit ahead of Rosenqvist. It's Newgarden 6th, McLaughlin, da Costa, Buemi and Estra in the top 10. That one is done. So Giovinazzi putting on a brilliant performance so far for Minardi so far after a stellar qualifying. We're looking at Jean-Eric Verne trying to make a pass on his compatriot Kevin Estra. And we've got Oliver Rowland in the pits at the end of lap 1 as well. He, I think, had some damage to his machine. And things are not looking good for Oliver Rowland at the moment, as far as his season is concerned. Only 1 points finish in the last 6 for him. And that was his second place finish at Mercurial Park, which was part of the Arrows 1-2. But nothing's gone right for him since, as we see Newgarden go holding off McLaughlin for 6th position. Joseph Newgarden, the race winner at Dijon-Bourgogne. As we watch Rosenqvist go through on Dixon for 4th place. Dixon having to yield there. And Rosenqvist is through, no question. And we see Latifi in 3rd place as Bama posts a new fastest lap. And we see Dixon, who's got his old IndyCar adversary Joseph Newgarden behind. Antonio Fitzcosta in the Force India running in 9th position now. Because Boemi's got through on him. Bamber going through the Schumacher S. Gone in for 2 wins in a row. The only driver to have won on a couple of occasions this season has been Joseph Newgarden at Indianapolis and Dijon-Bourgogne. Everyone else has won their first race of the season. That has taken the checker flag first. See Nicholas Latifi in 3rd position behind Antonio Giovinazzi. There's Da Costa through on Boemi for 8th. Nicely done there by the Portuguese. Now Bambo continuing to set the pace in this one. Don't know for certain what his strategy is going to be like. We see Newgarden and Dixon going out here again at the Castrol S. Latifi in 3rd position behind Antonio Giovinazzi and Earl Bamber. Lap 4, and Bamber is continuing to pull away from the Italian. Though Giovinazzi's staying in touch. Showing good signs of speed for Minardi, but have they got the pace to get to the end? As McLaughlin goes through on Newgarden for 6th place. That's done at the Vidal chicane. Giovinazzi. As we see Danica Fiat competing in his 2nd race this season. He did Indianapolis earlier on. He was running towards the front of the field at one stage, but retired due to mechanical gremlins. And we see a slow moving car coming towards the Castrol S, and I think it's Ollie Berman who has come to a slowdown. And so he's going to be pulling out of the race, is the young Brit. We know he won't be around in Season 5, given that he'll be a Haas Formula 1 driver in 2025. And there he is, pulling off out of the race. Here comes the 2nd driver to retire. Bamber. Antonio Giovinazzi 1st and 2nd. You see Latifi and Rosenqvist. There's Dixon, McLaughlin, Newgarden. And we see Da Costa going through on Newgarden now for P7. Newgarden beginning to drop back. Coming onto the pit straight, and Kevin Estra who's already got through on Sebastian Buemi. He's challenging Newgarden. Ericsson got through on the Prost driver into 10th. So Buemi outside the points now. He's got Jean-Luc Verne for company. There's Kobayashi under attack from what looks like Shane van Gisbergen. Manor have had a difficult season so far, really disappointing given the driver line that they've got. You can see Van Gisbergen not really doing anything wrong there. Kobayashi just ran up too far out wide and had to get the car slowed down to make the corner. Latifi in P3. Ahead of Latifi are Bamber and Giovinazzi. Dixon in 5th. Scott McLaughlin. I don't think it's going to be too long before Kevin Estre gets through on Joseph Newgarden for 8th here. And he has got through. Estre through on Newgarden for 8th position. And Giovinazzi with a new fast lap of the race. 1 minute 27.1. He's got the gap down to less than a second on Earl Bamber. Don't know for certain what strategies each of the drivers are doing. We'll find out as the race goes on. There is Newgarden. He's behind Kevin Estre in 9th place. Marcus Ericsson decides to do. There is Nicholas Latifi, who bagged a podium finish last time out in Mugello. Bamber continuing on in the lead. Van Gisbergen running in 19th. Then Bamber with a new fast lap of the race, 1:27.0. Nelson getting through on Van Gisbergen on track. Then we go back to Bamber. He's got the gap up to 1.1 seconds. And there's Verne, who has just seen his teammate get by Ericsson, has now got through on Ericsson himself into P11. Brendan Hartley, who's going slowly actually, he's just allowed Alexander Sims to get through too easily. Just seen an overtake in the background involving Danica Fiat on Shane van Gisbergen. And Nelson getting through on Hartley. And I'm not even sure if Hartley's going to be able to get that car back to the pits. We're on lap 8 out of 50. And Brennan Hartley is about to complete Pacific's miserable day after only 7 laps. Both of Kevin McMullen's cars are out of the League One Nürburgring Grand Prix. Well, coming into today, Pacific are in the bottom 3, in danger of going down to League 2. And then Ollie Rowland going through. And it's a brake issue for Brendan Hartley. He's the 3rd driver out of the race. Here are the leaders. Bamber doing everything he can As it stands, he would move into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. It can all change though. Antonio Giovinazzi, who's raced 3 times for BAR last season. There's a golden opportunity to boost Minardi's points total, as does Scott Dixon. It looks like DaCosta's got through on New Garden already, unless I'm just seeing another change of position. Although Marcello's got through on Jean-Luc Verne now. Verne got back passed by Ericsson, and Marcello's next to go past the Prost. There's Buemi on Kevin Estra into the Castrol S. And Buemi is through into 9th position, determined to remain as the championship leader today. And Kvyat under attack from Van Gisbergen. And Van Gisbergen was able to get back through. Behind Kvyat is the other manner of Mitch Evans. Giovinazzi, who's behind Bamber, is not making up enough ground on him. But we'll see how the pit stops play out. Verne goes back through on Marcello at the Vidal chicane. There's Ragunathan behind Grosjean. There's Giovinazzi in P2. Now, the best finish that Giovinazzi has achieved in his Grand Prix World Series career over the course of his time at BAR has been a 9th place finish. Came in Hockenheim, as well as he was serving. He was substituting for one of the BAR drivers for taking out another driver in the round before. Nicholas Latifi running in 3rd position still, just waiting for the pit stops to arrive. Kobayashi going through on Matthew Ragunathan. Now we are seeing Latifi. I mean, BAR are pretty much safe from relegation even by this stage of the campaign, realistically. I'm sure they've exceeded their points tally from last season as well. Last season they picked up 56 points, so far this season it's been 70. The bottom 5 teams being Fonmatel, Manor, Onyx, Pacific and Mastercard Lola. At the moment, only Kevin Estra is inside the points out of the teams in the bottom 5 of the team's championship. In the bottom 3 coming in today were Onyx, Pacific and Mastercard Lola. We know that Pacific are not going to be scoring today, because both of their drivers are out of the race. Mastercard Lola might have a chance later, although Fonmatel might have a say on that, as Ericsson gets through on Estra for 10th place. It's an important move there for Ericsson. Lead 2 Drivers' Champion of last season. is Newgarden, there is Giovinazzi, and we see Latifi further back in 3rd place. And we see Verne in 13th. Behind Verne is Romain Grosjean. Not too far away from the pit stops involving those doing the 2-stop. Got 3 retirements so far: Brendan Hartley, Ollie Behrman and Pietro Fittipaldi. Felipe Nasser, who ran into Fittipaldi, which caused him to retire, will be disqualified from the race. He'll be serving a 1 race ban next time out at Istanbul. Oliver Rowland, who came into the pits at the end of lap 1, is at the back in 23rd position. Earl Bamber has taken victory in his Grand Prix World Series career this season, and Tim Giovinazzi has yet to. Bearing in mind he's only done 3 races in the Grand Prix World Series. Nicholas Latifi has also yet to win. Felix Rosenqvist has already won at Mercuriat Park. Scott Dixon has done so at Buenos Aires. Scott McLaughlin has yet to taste victory. Da Costa hasn't won yet this season. Newgarden has won twice. Buemi won in Hikara Pagua. And Ericsson hasn't won yet this season, but he has won in the past, thanks to his run of victories that took him to the title in League 2 last season. The gap between Bamber and Giovinazzi is 1.7 seconds. Further back, we're looking at Romain Grosjean getting through on Jean-Luc Verne for 13th position. Verne dropping back. He's now got Kamui Kobayashi for company. And Kobayashi attempting to get through on Verne, but to no avail. And the Challenge Championship as it is, Elbama will move into the lead. He'll pick up 27 points from this race. 87. Buemi, who's only on course for 2 championship points, will move on to 75. Newgarden, who's running in 8th, will go on to 62. Felix Rosenqvist, who's running in 4th place, he'll get 12 championship points for that. He'll move on to 69. He'll go up to 3rd place in the championship. Scott Dixon, by finishing 5th, will remain in 5th on 54. Lap 15 completed. Elbamba still leading the way. We're looking at Ragunathan getting through on Kobayashi for 15th position. And that's the BAR through, no problem. Latifi in 3rd place ahead of Rosenqvist. And it's Dixon, McLaughlin, Da Costa, Newgarden, Buemi and Ericsson. Regards to the team's championship, Leighton House have got the driver in the lead and the driver in 8th place. They'll get 31 championship points with the way things are going, which will move them on to 149. Prost will only get 2 points in this one. go on to 111 arrows by getting 4th place. They'll head on to 97. BAR, who came into this round 4th, or remaining 4th, on 85. And it's Minardi who will be leaping up, with Giovinazzi in 2nd and Dixon in 5th, which will give them 28 championship points. They go on to 80. And they'll move ahead of Sinsek into 5th. We see Alexander Sims behind Kamui Kobayashi in the battle for 16th. Shulgunon got through on Felipe Nasser. Also, I was talking all about the team's championship. And Shane van Gisbergen gets through on Nasser as well. And I think Nasser could well be beginning to struggle. Latifi doing his best to keep his car on the circuit. 2 seconds is the margin. Marcello's got through on Estra. Kevin Estra going through on Marcello for 11th place. It doesn't look like anyone has come into the pits yet. In the end of lap 17, although I would maybe expect to see one driver to do so, but it's probably going to be someone from towards the back of the field to do that. The gap between Bamber and Giovinazzi is 2 seconds. Bamber continuing on. And it's Antonio Giovinazzi. He's doing his best to keep up. And we're seeing Da Costa knocking up at the last turn, but keeping going. So the better race of it is Da Costa after a difficult season so far for the Force India team. He'd already been banned for a race for taking out Shulgunon in Zolder. Here's Verne, who's behind Marcello in the fight for 13th. There's Giovinazzi in 2nd place. Now, will the move dropping Gabriele Mini pay off for team manager Giacomo Pagliaro of Minardi? Latifi aiming for 2 podiums in a row in the BAR. Rosenqvist in 4th place ahead of Dixon. Mitch Evans under attack from Danny Kafia, who gets through. And then we are seeing a pit stop down at Onyx. Shulgunon comes in. First driver to make a scheduled stop. We're now on lap 20. probably say that those who have stayed out are going to be doing the one-stops, and that's going to be the vast majority of everyone. Bamber and Giovinazzi, 1 and 2 over the line. Tiffy and Rosenqvist doing their best to keep up. Seeing Sims go for it on Kobayashi into the Vidal chicane. He's through into 16th. You can see Latifi in 3rd position ahead of Rosenqvist, who's the only Arrows fighting at the front. Oliver Rowland way down at the back. There's Giovinazzi in 2nd place. Brilliant drive so far from the Italian. Can he outdo El Bamba in the pit stops? There is the Leighton House. It's been a sterling drive from the Kiwi. Going for 2 wins in a row. It'll be Leighton House's 3rd win on the chart. They were to do it today. If you were to go back to season 2, they had won 3 on the bounce in round 6, 7 and 8, which were in Chennai, Kyalami and Istanbul. And we see Vern get through on Marcello, who seems to be slowing with a problem, which is not good news there for team manager Ed Spencer. And yeah, he's come to a slowdown out of the Dunlop curve, and his race is over. So he's the 4th driver to retire from the race. And that's 2 non-finishes in a row for the Italian. There's Bamba ahead of Giovinazzi. Lap 23. Who's going to be the next to duck into the pits? Bamba continuing on. When will he decide to put in for his only stop? He's continuing on his way. Looks like Giovinazzi. Is he coming into the pits or is he continuing on? He's continuing on as Giovinazzi. Placing lap 23. Teams have the reliability to make it to the end. can say that Marcus Ericsson's come into the pits for his only stop. And we're watching Matavir Gunnathan in the BAR, who's behind Jean-Eric Verne. He's coming through the Vidal chicane. Don't know for certain whether he's coming in yet. Let's see if he's not doing so. Neither is Giovinazzi. Looks like Scott Dixon. Is he going to come in? Well, in fact, Giovinazzi is in. My apologies for that. He's in from second place in his attempt to complete an undercut on Earl Bamber. Felix Rosenfist in at the same time. Antonio Felix da Costa as well. Kevin Estra going past Giovinazzi as Giovinazzi comes out of the pits. He's behind Romain Grosjean. He is ahead of Verne. Shane van Gisbergen comes in for Mano. Just seen Verne getting through on Giovinazzi for position there on track. Giovinazzi will be determined to get that place back. Giovinazzi going through on Verne. This is at the left-hander of the RTL curve. And he should be able to pull away now. He's on the fresher tyres. He might even go for a fastest lap. And Verne is about to be overtaken by Matavir Gunnathan. Scott McLaughlin comes in for HRT. Sebastian Buemi as well. Kevin Estra. Likewise, as we see Antonio Felix da Costa going through the chicane. One of the Manners, I think, has come in. I think it has to be Mitch Evans, isn't it? We see Nicholas Latifi in P2 on track. For another podium finish as Rowland comes in. That'll be his first scheduled stop of the race. He's not going to be scoring, is Rowland. Latifi comes in from second place. Dixon goes round as Bamber comes in for his only stop. Don't think Giovinazzi's doing enough in taking out of Bamber. Dixon goes into the lead for now. Newgarden in P2. There's Bamber who's just come out of the pits. He's ahead of Latifi, who is in front of Giovinazzi, but for how long? And that's a change for position between those two. Latifi through into second place. And net second place. We see Giovinazzi on the inside of Latifi into the RTL curve, and he is through into second position ahead of the BAR. think that move was coming all along, given how quickly he came up behind him when Latifi came out. Now here's Dixon coming in from the lead. And now is Newgarden coming in as well, or is he heading in? Oh, is he staying in for another lap? No, Newgarden is in, which allows Earl Bamber to stay in the net race lead. And he, with the way things are going, is on course for the win. Giovinazzi second, Latifi third, Rosenqvist back up to fourth. We've got Gunnarsson in the pits now. McLaughlin, sorry, is going to be on the tail of Dixon. We're looking at Kobayashi going through on Sims at the final chicane of the lap. McLaughlin behind Dixon, and it's Newgarden, Buemi, Eriksson and Estra. And outside the points is this man, Roman Grosjean. Seen a change for position. I think Shulgunon's got through on Sean Verne by the looks of things. It might have been Verne on McGunnathan. Bamber looking good for the win. He's now over 4 seconds clear of this battle for second place between Giovinazzi and Latifi. And see Shane van Gisbergen through on Felipe Nasr on circuit into 17th. Bamber continuing on ahead of Giovinazzi and Latifi still. Is it going to be 3 wins in a row for Leighton-House for the second time in their history? They'll also extend the record of most number of wins, most number of podiums. I'm looking on the old-time stats in terms of who has the most points in Grand Prix World Series history. It's Simtek who hold that. But should Leighton-House get the result they are craving for today, they'll leapfrog them and they'll become the highest scoring team in Grand Prix World Series history. Considering as well that Leighton-House have had one less season in the Grand World Series because they started in League 2 when the Championship had been divided into 2 leagues, and Leighton-House were one of the newer rivals in the Grand World Series then. They have had a remarkable time of it. Antonio Giovinazzi, the driver, in second place. His teammate Scott Dixon is in 5th. And looking strong, Fiat comes into the pits. He's only stop. And Joseph Newgarden in the Leighton-House has slowed down with a problem. It's going to be 2 non-finishes in a row for the American. On lap 30, he is out of the race. And that's not good news for Chris Cavney, the team boss of the squad. And so he's the 5th driver to retire from the race. Allows Sebastian Buemi to go through into 7th, Marcus Osen 8th, Kevin Estra 9th, and Roman Grosjean in the Mask of Lola is in 10th place. And this could get very interesting, because if we see any more of the top runners dropping out, it could favour those towards the bottom end of the championship. Now Von Mattel looking good for 4 championship points, which will see them bridge further clear of Manor, who don't look like they're going to be scoring today. Onyx have got Esther in 9th, but they've got Gunon also running in 11th. So Onyx will be getting 2 championship points, but it'll stay in the bottom 3 as it stands. And Marscott Lola will be getting a championship point, but they'll remain rock bottom. That non-finish for Newgarden is his 4th of the campaign. It's been a super drive though from his teammate Elbemba so far. Doing everything right. And Scott Dixon slowing in the Minardi. It just doesn't seem to stop, does it? Another mechanical problem for team manager Giacomo Pagliaro. Scott Dixon, from 5th place, retires from the League 1 Nürburgring Grand Prix. And what will that do for his future within the team? Minardi have already sacked 2 drivers from their team. Sebastian Bourdais earlier in the season and Gabriele Mini. Both, I think, are involved in the Grand Prix Series test. Now we see Bamba running wide a little bit on the exit of the last turn, but still on the circuit. That retirement for Dixon has promoted McLaughlin up to 5th, Bohemi now 6th, Ericsson, Estra, Grosjean and Gunon were up positions in the points. Here's your race leader Elbemba, less than 5 seconds clear, but it's all he needs to win again. And this will be the 5th race in a row where Leighton House are not able to get both cars to the end. Right on board, carrying all hopes for Minardi now. And there's an engine problem for Nicholas Latifi in the BAR from 3rd place. It's a huge shame for team manager Will Knight. It's not going to be 2 podiums in a row for him. And this will allow Felix Rosenqvist to go through into 3rd place. Another driver from the top end of the field retires on lap 34. I don't think he'll be able to get that back to the pits either. He's holding up Rosenqvist now, which will not please Arrow's team boss Topher Smith. But Rosenqvist is through now, and Latifi is not going to be able to get that car back to the pits, I doubt. Unless he's actually able to. He's coming round now, but no, he's past pit entry. The problem is terminal, and so he retires from the race. does the Canadian. And this promotes Scott McLaughlin up to 4th, Buemi up to 5th, and it's Ericsson, Estra, Grosjean, Gounon, and Jean-Eric Verne. 2 pros will be in the points. And there goes Latifi off the track and out of the way. So another driver goes from this. Felix Rosenqvist carrying on his way. He's determined to keep up with the leaders here after being stopped behind Latifi when he was trying to get past him. He's looking good for a podium now, is the Swede. Will we see any more drama before this race is over? I think Giovinazzi must be consigned to finish in 2nd here, which will be a great result for him and for the team. They need these points now if they have any hope of staying in the hunt for the team's championship. We see Antonio Felix da Costa, who was in the points earlier. I don't know if he had to make a second trip to the pits. It wouldn't surprise me if he had done. But he's through on Mitch Evans for 16th. It doesn't look like Force India are going to be coming away with any points today. And that's the race leader, Albamba, with a loose wheel! The lighthouse is out! And that promotes Antonio Giovinazzi into the lead on his Minardi debut! What a shock for team manager Chris Cavaney, Albamba, who had everything go right for him in this race, and I think something else has happened. It's Marcus Ericsson in the Fomercell, he's also out. A change in the title race and a change in the battle for relegation. Bamba is gone, Ericsson is gone, Giovinazzi into the lead, and Rosenqvist is into 2nd place. Scott McLaughlin is 3rd, and Sebastian Buemi is up to 4th in the pros. Kevin Estra up to 5th now in the Onyx. It's Roman Grosjean 6th for Mascot Lola. Shulgun on 7th, Jean-Luc Verne 8th, Matvey Rigoda for 9th, and Kamiri Kobayashi in the Simtek is in 10th. And Shulgunon has come in with a problem, unless this is his 2nd stop of the race, actually, for Shulgunon. I do recall him coming into the pits for the first of his 2 stops. He drops out of the points now, which promotes Verne, Raghunathan, Kobayashi, and Alexander Sims, who's had nothing really to celebrate this season. Could be on course for a championship point after all in this. Gounon rejoins behind Roland in 16th position. Antonio Giovinazzi, in his 4th Grand Prix World Series race, his 1st for Minardi, is into the lead. He's got 13 laps remaining here. Rosenqvist is 2nd, and it's McLaughlin in 3rd. Scott McLaughlin, who's already finished on the podium twice this season. And Rosenqvist is hoping to end the Arrows hoodoo. A difficult couple of rounds for them. And there's Sims through on Kobayashi for 9th position. Just gets even better there for Alexander Sims. He's having one of those rare occasions to really show off his fighting skills. So as far as the championship is concerned now, with Bamba out of the race, Sebastian Buemi, whatever happens now, will remain in the lead unless Rosenqvist can win here today and Buemi not to score. Well, Buemi will stay in the lead in the championship with 12 points added to his total, so he'll move on to 85. And Grosjean retires from the race in the Marscard Lola. That's heart-wrenching for team manager Marcus Johansson. Grosjean having another good race up until this point, but Mechanical Gremlins has sidelined him. 6th place gone. Danny Kafia is still in the race, but he's towards the back end of the field anyway. Grosjean out. Another one gone. Well, that changes the picture in the relegation battle a little bit, because Marscard Lola don't look like they're going to be scoring now. They really need these points. Sebastian Buemi will stay in the lead on 85 points. The driver moving to 2nd place is Felix Rosenqvist. He'll go on to 75. He'll be 12 points off the lead of the Swiss. Bamba at the moment will keep the points for pole position and fastest lap. He'll go on to 62. He'll remain in front of his teammate Joseph Newgarden. Dixon's not going to be scoring. Ragunathan's in the points in 7th place. He'll move in front of Dixon in the championship, as will Scott McLaughlin, thanks to his 3rd place. There is McLaughlin. He's nearly 14 seconds off the lead. If he can just keep going, who knows what could happen in the remaining laps of this. Jean-Luc Verne having a better race of it is in 6th. Of course, to move in front of Marcello in the championship. There's Kobayashi running in 9th now. And in the points is Shane van Gisbergen. Who's had little to celebrate this season. Behind van Gisbergen is Felipe Nasr, who at the moment will be excluded from the race for taking out Pietro Fittipaldi at the beginning. Minardi have already celebrated victory this season at Buenos Aires with Scott Dixon. Is Antonio Giovinazzi going to win on his maiden outing for the team? Scott McLaughlin in 3rd position. About to race it at Giovinazzi's 10 laps away from victory. His first in the Grand Prix World Series. Yet another different race winner could be on the cards today in the Grand Prix World Series this season. That will take the tally up to 15. Minardi's reliability has been woeful this season so far. Dixon was able to get to the end last time out at Mugello. Unlike Mini, today it's Dixon who's retired and Giovinazzi's still going. In the relegation battle, or let's go on to the teams championship as far as the title battle is concerned. Prost, with the way things are going, will be moving back into the lead, ahead of Leighton House. With Buemi in 4th, Fern in 6th. They'll give them 20 championship points, they'll go on to 129. Leighton House are on course to get the pole position and fastest lap points. They'll move That moves them onto 120 in second. And Arrows, as we watch Felipe Nasser go through on Shane van Gisbergen, which is highly relevant because Nasser will be excluded from the results anyway. Arrows, as it stands, will get 18 championship points thanks to Rosenqvist's second position. Gunon gets through on Roland for 14th. Arrows will move on to 103. As far as Minardi are concerned, and maybe HRT as well, Minardi will move on to 77 points, which would see them leapfrog Simtech and BAR into 4th. And HRT, well, they'll just move further and further away from the drop zone. And with Force India currently not scoring as it stands, they'll be looking over their shoulders a little bit. With Fomitel, who are not going to be scoring today, but Onyx are on course to leapfrog out of the bottom 3 with their 5th place finish here, thanks to Kevin Estra and Tenerife Costa going side by side there with Shane van Gisbergen not quite pulling the move off there. 10 championship points coming in the way of Onyx. They'll move on to 33. They'll go ahead of Mana and Fomitel, and more importantly out of the bottom 3. I think Ryan Ferris's choice of going for Estra in place of Liam Lawson has paid off so far. In the short term, at least, anyway. Pacific are not going to be scoring. Neither are Marsco Lola. However, Mana are on course to get a point because Van Gisbergen is behind Nasser, who is not going to be included in the race results for reasons which I've just mentioned. And in fact, Van Gisbergen's just been overtaken by Antonio Felix da Costa, so Van Gisbergen's not on course to get that point now. That is potentially going in the way of Antonio Felix da Costa and Force India. That just tells you about Mana's season. The driver at the back of the field is Danny Kafia, who's pitted twice in this race. And now we'll see Mo Viragunathan going through on Jonick Verne for 6th position. Nice move there from the Indian. Behind Verne is Alexander Sims in 8th place. HRT with a 3rd and an 8th. Give them 19 championship points. They'll go on to 71. And they'll just be behind Simtek, who are on course to get a couple of points out of this, thanks to Kamui Kobayashi. There's still time for things to change in the remaining laps, though, at the Nürburgring. It's safe to say we've seen more in this than what we saw in League 2. More of the front runners retiring due to mechanical gremlins. The likes of El Bamba dropping out, Nicholas Latifi dropping out, Scott Dixon dropping out. There we'll see Rosenqvist chasing Antonio Giovinazzi. There's your race leader. Just 6 laps away now. He will not want anything to go wrong from in here. Sean Fern's only a couple of seconds clear of Alexander Sims in the fight for 7th. Buemi's not closing in on McLaughlin as we speak. So it looks pretty much set in stone as far as the top 5 are concerned. Fern's dropping back from Regunathan. got 16 drivers left in the race. As far as we know, we've lost 10. And we've also got Felipe Nasr to add to that. He'll be disqualified from the event. His part in the incident with Pietro Fittipaldi. We are seeing Antonio Giovinazzi continuing on. Ahead of him is the Marscod Layla of Danica Fia, I believe. There it is, it's just going through the RTL curve. He's a long way off Oliver Rowland, is Kafia, so in his first race back, I think it's going to be a place outside the points for him. You've seen McLaughlin giving it his all in third position. It'll be his third place finish of the season. In his debut campaign. Doing a super job. There's Rosenqvist. Good enough for a podium. Good enough to go up to second place in the championship. After a difficult couple of rounds at Dijon-Bourgogne and Mugello. The race is not done yet. As I've mentioned before, there's still time for things to change. Nasr will be under attack from Antonio Felix da Costa soon. I'm just looking at Shulgunon, who's catching Mitch Evans. He's only 3.1 seconds back. I think he's running out of time to make his move on him. It's a shame for Gounon, because if he was on the one-stop strategy, he would have been inside the points. Giovinazzi, 3 laps away from the finish. Second on the grid. He took over the lead after El Bamba had retired. Rosenqvist going through Dunlop. And there's a Simtek on fire, and it's Kamui Kobayashi, who is running in 9th position. And it's the end of the day's work for Scott Woodward as his team. And you can just see Da Costa dodging his way out of the way there. That's 2 points down the drain for the team. That promotes Nasr up to 9th, but that will be irrelevant. Da Costa will therefore be 9th, and it's Van Gisbergen who goes back up into the points in 10th for Manor. You can see just parking up there next to Nicholas Latifi's car. 2 laps remaining, and Giovinazzi is 8 seconds clear of Felix Rosenqvist. Here we can see Scott McLaughlin in 3rd position. It's been a good day for HRT. It's certainly been a good day for Minardi so far, as for Prost. If you're Leighton House, Simtek, Pacific, Moscow Lola, it's probably been a day to forget. Antonio Giovinazzi is about to start the final lap on the brink of his first Grand Prix World Series win. In his fourth outing overall and his first for Minardi. And you can see Scott McLaughlin coming over the line to start his final lap as well. It's been a good day's work for him. We want to go back to Antonio Giovinazzi, who's driven a splendid race. A difficult season for the team. They've seen two drivers come and go. Dixon is still there, but he's not going to be finishing today, unlike this man. Antonio Giovinazzi, thrown in at the deep end. Not knowing what would happen, not knowing where the team would be today. Has arrived, got stuck in, got on with the job, and he's about to deliver something magnificent for team manager Giacomo Pagliaro. This was the kind of result that's going to propel them with any hope of retaining their team's championship. Antonio Giovinazzi has got one more corner to navigate. Antonio Giovinazzi comes over the line to win the League 1 Nürburgring Grand Prix. It's his first in the Grand Prix World Series. Minardi, for the first time in 6 races, stand on the top step. Felix Rosenqvist second for Arrows, and it's Scott McLaughlin who will be third for HRT. Another podium finish for him, and another podium finish for team manager John Munro. Prost gets Sebastian Buemi to 4th position, and this is a great result for Onyx. Kevin Estre, in his second Grand Prix World Series race, comes home with 5th. Much needed points for Onyx. They are now out of the bottom 3 in the team's championship. Matt Verstappen is 6th. Sean Verne is 7th. Alexander Sims completes a brilliant day for HRT in 8th. Felipe Nasr is 9th, but is disqualified from the race for taking out Pietro Fittipaldi. That is subject to appeal. Antonio Felix da Costa is promoted to 9th, and Shane van Gisbergen gets the last point for Manor in 10th place, a much needed point for them. Jules Gounon misses out on points in 11th, and it's Mitch Evans, Oliver Rowland, and the last driver over the line will be Danica Fiat in the Mastercard Lola. It's a magnificent victory for Antonio Giovinazzi and for Minardi, a much needed result for them. Felix Rosenqvist in 2nd, ahead of Scott McLaughlin, and it's Sebastian Buemi 4th. Kevin Estre, a brilliant 5th place for him, ahead of Matvei Ragunathan. Sean Verne 7th, Alexander Sims in 8th, Antonio Felix da Costa in 9th for Force India, and the last championship point going in the way of Shane van Gisbergen and for Manor. 11th was Jules Gounon, unlucky to miss out on points. Mitch Evans 12th, Oliver Rowland in 13th, Danica Fiat, the last to take the checker flag in 14th place. Kamui Kobayashi retired with only a few laps to the end. Roman Grosjean out, a much needed result down the drain for him and for Mastercard Lola. Albamba retiring from the lead. Marcus Ericsson also out. Nicholas Latifi missing out on the podium. Scott Dixon also retiring, as well as Joseph Newgarden. Rafael Marciello, Brennan Hartley, Ollie Berman, and Pietro Fittipaldi with the rest to not finish. Felipe Nasr disqualified for taking out Fittipaldi at the start, and he'll be out of the next round in Istanbul Park. The points for pole position and fast lap came in the way of Albamba. An unpredictable result. A brilliant result for Antonio Giovinazzi, brought in as another driver to the team in place of the sacked Gabriele Mini. And I think it's safe to say that Giacomo Pagliaro is not going to be sacking him anytime soon. And it's given Minardi some slim hope in the team's championship, given that Leighton House have not scored today. Prost moved back into the lead of that reckoning, and Sebastian Buemi stays in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. The driver moving up into 2nd place, though, is Felix Rosenqvist, thanks to his runner-up position at the Nürburgring Grand Prix in League 1. It's time to run down on the championship standings in League 1 in the voice of Topher Smith, and we'll do it all over again in Istanbul Park.
I bet Giacomo Pagliaro is very happy about his latest driver change. A huge congratulations to Antonio Giovinazzi for taking victory today in his first race back since last season. But what has this race done to the driver standing? Sebastian Buemi still leads the way on 85 points, while Felix Rosenqvist's podium today has put him up to second on 75 points. Earl Bamber third in a Leighton House on 62 ahead of his teammate Joseph Newgarden. Scott McLaughlin's third podium this season puts him fifth in the championship on 57 points. Matthew Raikkonen on 52 ahead of Scott Dixon on 46, Jean-Eric Verne 42, Raffaele Marcello 36, and Oliver Behrman rounding out the top 10 on 35. And in the teams, Prost has taken back the lead of the team's championship, 127 points for the French team, 7 ahead of Leighton House, while Arrows move on to 103 with Rosenqvist second place today. BAR are fourth on 78, 1 point ahead of Minardi on 77. HRT are on 71, 1 ahead of Simtek, while Force India, Onyx and Manor round out the top 10. Onyx has lifted itself out of the relegation zone for now, dropping Fomitel back into it, while Pacific Grand Prix and Mascar Lola also in the relegation zone as it stands at the halfway point of the season. Well, it's been another fantastic day of action here in the Grand Prix World Series. We are now halfway through Season 4, 8 rounds still left to run. The next of those races coming at Istanbul Park in Turkey. That served up a classic last season, and I'm sure it will serve her more of the same this time around. But until then, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.